guys. It's the last word. We are here. If you're seeing us, because we're on a new platform. We're like this is like when Howard Stern, sold his show to what he went from terrestrial to what's it, Sirius, right? Sirius XM. So
oh yeah, that was a lucrative opportunity for him.
This is equally lucrative for us. We just don't know yet.
Okay. Many happy returns.
Right. So happy Halloween. Christy got the memo. Courtney and I are just sitting in a spooky house, and KP, we don't know what we're going to get from KP here soon.
Oh, you're nothing special. A noisy kitchen. Our house is mayhem on Halloween. We have a DJ, a photo booth, a block party. Starts right here. It's a little hectic on my house, and I'm like, get out of here. I got to do my podcast. Anyway.
I love it.
I'm just happy that we have the anticipation of little munchkins in cute costumes coming to either not say trick or treat, say trick or treat, or just stick out a bag, like whatever a 4-year-old wants to do. I am just all in to see that tonight. I've got my vampire juice ready to go for all the mommies that want to come by.
I predict a lot of kids going 6, 7.
What does that mean? Like, I'm so
murder.
out of it.
It means murder. It's a song about murdering someone. It's like, I stay strapped. I don't need mine. Shooters got belts on that behind. I know he dying. 6, 7. It's a murder rap song. Your kids are singing about murder. My 6-year-old is singing about murder.
I might remove that. Where's the Kids Bop version of that, KP?
I was like, is he like the Grim Reaper for Halloween or something good that's murderous?
Sadly, we have a Candyland board game theme at the house, and I'm the red figure.
Okay.
So yeah, I have a full bodysuit. It'll be fun. I'll get a picture up for.
Oh yeah, it's not real unless there's pictures and video. So
that's the way it works. That is the way it works. It has been.
Courtney, how does Halloween work in your neighborhood? Do you still have like a good younger group of people, or?
Well, I am a full-scale Halloween Scrooge because I am a dog owner.
Oh.
I have 3 very anxious and excited dogs that don't do well with anyone coming to the door. So I actually have a new book, and I'm gonna go downstairs and turn the lights off and recover from a busy week in a new mortgage servicer. And mine's old enough now that he goes trick-or-treating on his own.
Yeah.
Which is a heartbreaking stage of life.
Not for him.
Right.
Not for money.
Yeah. He'll be ready to go, and hopefully we won't become pre-diabetic this evening, all the good stuff.
We already know KP's his is going to be an all day, all night affair. Christy, is this your first Halloween? Are you in Austin or are you in South Carolina?
No, I'm in Austin right now. So this is our second Halloween in this house. And what we discovered last year is that on our street, not many people come. So we're going to go to the neighbor's house where lots of kids come because, it's just, I love little kids and tiny little humans and cute outfits.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that for you.
We've been here 22 or 23 years. And so it's been really wild to watch because like our kids are all out of that stage, right?
Yeah.
So we went from like craziness, probably similar to like what KP's describing, where everyone got together and had these, crazy events, which were awesome. And then we had this spell where like everyone's kids were getting older, so it became quiet. And now we've had this turnover happening in the neighborhood where there's younger families coming in. And so it's like a whole new group. And like Courtney, we now have a dog in the mix, and we're not sure how that's going to work with the constant ringing of the doorbell. So that should be fun.
Our dog is so old, she doesn't know the doorbell is ringing, but when you open the door and there are kids, she is like, me.
Yeah.
So she gets pretty excited.
Y'all are like those old people on next door, like, oh, the fireworks, my dog's ears. It's terrible. Yeah. Sorry. Humans are the dominant species. Humans are dominant species. Last time I checked, we dominated. So dogs, I love dogs. They're great, but just, you just got to deal with it. Out here, it seems like a week on fireworks, but thank God there's no fireworks this holiday.
We had was it 2 weeks ago was Diwali?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so there was a big,
you know how I know? Because I Siri from Funding Shield, when I get the email, I'm like, it's Diwali.
Yeah. So our community had a big event, and there was fireworks 2 nights in a row, which was pretty cool. Get a October fireworks show. So I'm monitoring another laptop. I'm not ignoring you guys, but because we're on a new platform, so we had a comment that somebody likes the spider hat and the spooky dark backgrounds, and now KP's dining room. And then Colleen Kennedy is telling KP to stop dogging the dogs. So there you go.
Oh, Colleen's, she's the sweetest. She's out on the West.
Colleen is my girl.
She's amazing. She's been with us in an act for forever.
Love it.
And she's also a golfing buddy of mine. She's a lot of fun. She can hit the heck out of a ball. Anyway.
So Halloween notwithstanding, we did have some stuff going on this week, and we still have stuff going on, macro stuff going on. So let's maybe get into kind of the news of the week, and right hot off the wire last night, we had the HR updates coming from the Twitter handle of Director Pulte. So some more cuts at Fannie Mae. I'm curious, from the lending side of the world, are you guys starting to see any of the impact of any of these cuts inside of the GSEs, or has it been a relative non-issue in terms of the day-to-day?
No, I think that it's alive and well. Even in terms of how people are, how, even if it's survivor's guilt, right? I think people are rolling things much more by the book than I've seen in a long time. I've talked to a few people off the record who are like, I think I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, it's job insecurity. And when we're talking about these folks, it's specific to the mortgage industry, but I think that job insecurity, generally speaking, is something. I mean, I'm sure KP has like 42 metrics on unemployment. But I think that when the people around you, right, and I think that people don't go do those jobs, right? You take one of those jobs to like do that job for a while, and that's like your plan. You're not climbing really quick up like those are huge entities. They're all of the other stuff, and no boot toward those gigs. But I think that when you add job insecurity to a job that is traditionally secure. And then, from an approvals perspective, I would say in the servicing space, for us, there's just a lot of different touch points where we need people in their places doing their things every day in order to keep things moving. We are seeing some delays in that regard. Same thing at Fannie Mae with certain approvals right now, because they're all basically not working.
Well, I was just happy the TSA people showed up so that my flights went well this week. But back to unemployment, if you are out on X, there was, and I can't say this right, the Kobeissi letter, KOBEISSI letter, that talked about recent layoffs from UPS, 48,000, Amazon, 30,000, Intel, 24,000, Nestle, 16,000, right? And the list goes on. And it, some pretty big numbers. And the commentary that popped up around this was all AI, right? These are all kind of mid-level jobs that are going away because we have brought in AI, and it has gotten good or good enough that people's jobs are getting reduced.
Yeah, I would say, as it relates to Fannie Mae, nothing that we've seen at PRMG, like customer facing or interaction, stuff like that, right? I mean, so I'm not trying to sound like the secondary market, cold, heartless, and unforgiving, but in Pulte's tweet, he's like, X amount of jobs were let go. We have 7,000 plus employees, right? So, when you say, people who were comfortable in their job, I don't know if that's because they were doing a good job, they were working full 8 hours, they were effective, they're impacting, housing and housing affordability goals. And I don't know, like, I'm not inside it. I just see the tweets and the headlines as well. I know that, there's a management style out there that likes to fire just because, to shake things up. And then if you're still here, you're like, oh, well, you made the cut, but now my company is in firing mode, so I need to work harder, right? And so I think for us on the lending side, I think it's all hands on deck right now. We're strapped to the gills. It's super busy. We're wrapping up our best month we've had since 2021. And it's just busy right now in our business. So I can't, the broader thing, like zooming out, at the press conference, a Q&A after, the Fed meeting, when Chair Powell speaks, he was asked, like, you thought you heard AI a lot at MBA annual and every trade show, like they talked about it a lot in the presser. And he was like, yeah, it's negligible, and again, being kind of cold about it and being just numbers driven and factual driven. There are hundreds of thousands, millions of jobs, month over month, lost and gain every month. And so, but I will say, I brought this up on the show before. I signed our Salesforce contract just a little over, January will be, 9 years. And I remember, Mark Benioff being interviewed by the editor of Wired magazine. I'm sitting right in front of him at a fireside chat at the inn at the Presidio, and I'm like, me to like the wall right here. And they're like, when, not if, when 45% of the world's jobs are automated, what are we as leaders going to do about it? And so it really resonated with me to be, corporately responsible about repurposing, reskilling, rehousing, moving things around, and not just like, oh, great, got some AI, let's save a buck, right? Which is why we're doing AI voice first to call and get new business in, rather than agentic AI to fire a bunch of processors. Rather load up the processors than lift them up from behind. And so, I think every company's different, though. This is kind of a broad statement, but like, equity firm, private equity, hedge fund style management, they can't wait to save a buck for AI. And so I think it just depends on where you work and what you do. To add to that list, Christy, I think it was like 45,000 UPS jobs. And I've said this before, in 29 of our states, the number one job is truck driver. And that could totally be automated. You could have driverless trucks tomorrow if they could build them fast enough. So it's going to be very interesting what happens in our economy. I still think that people will just do other stuff. They'll find something else to do if you're an able-bodied worker. Our workforce has grown for decades, and I think it still will.
My eyebrow lady said to me yesterday that she has a series of clients that are, government adjacent, that have been out of work, and that they're driving for a DoorDash in the interim, and they're, picking up stuff like that. And so, I think industrious people are industrious people. I think that there's work for industrious people, really speaking, but interesting to watch. What do you think, KP, this means for the first quarter of the year?
The first quarter year for what, as it relates to what?
Just production, generally speaking. Like, how are we going to do? What do you think is going to happen in the first 2 quarters of the year?
When this happened a year ago, when the Fed cut 50 basis points, locks really loaded up into the end of September. And then that October first Friday jobs report kind of killed that rally. And that actually carried us all the way through December. So we're loaded up again. Another gigantic, slug of locks. So I think that could actually carry us through into January. I think the difference this time around is it's not like, first of all, we aren't getting any labor reports. Yeah. So so everyone's looking at jobless claims. Weekly jobless claims is kind of like the big deal right now, right? So I think January and February has a chance to be one of the better January and Februarys we've had as an industry since 22. And I think a lot of people forget the lowest rates ever got in the history of history was actually February of 22. So it might be our best January and February as an industry since those months when locks were still there before the Fed started hiking. So, you know, we chose not to fire, like, you know, just to save a buck. We've been hanging on to our staff and quite frankly, you know, overstaffed in certain areas, anticipating things like this, and then things like spring purchase season. So, you know, we're having a great October, November, December. What's hanging on again like we do every year in January, February. So I'm pretty bullish on 26. I think it's a different market. I don't know how much better rates can get, you know, 380 on the 10-year, maybe 360, but maybe probably 383. We're at 409, less than the 420 we're at. The 435, everyone said we're going to have 5% 10-year, 8% rates. I mean, literally think about every doomsdayer has been wrong for years. I mean, for years. And the trend is your friend. Rates have generally gotten lower, and we're in a really good spot in the industry.
I'd like to see that kind of flatten out and create some stability, right? Like part of the thing that has made the last 5 years so challenging for folks is the extreme volatility. And we haven't had kind of that stability. So if I'm like, you know, putting something on my Christmas list for Santa Claus, it is stable, slow and steady decline, not this like, okay, we're going to have a week down here at 3%, and then we're going to go back up here. Let's just keep things a little stable where people can plan, where it helps with the psychology of the borrowers that are out there, because they feel like they can see that stability and get them off the sidelines and into the I'm ready to purchase a home.
That does really work for purchase activity. Like everyone keeps poo-pooing purchase business right now. I'm like it's almost Thanksgiving. Like it's like literally tomorrow Mariah Carey will be playing everywhere. And so this is not the time of year when people traditionally purchase. And so when there's less volatility in a non-seasonal time, I agree with you. But in spring purchase season, people buy because it's the time to buy. So they're just going to pay the rate. And so I think it has been stable. It's been steadily going down. I mean, we're guilty of like watching the rates every second, right, and every day. But I think consumers generally are like, oh, the Fed's cutting. Things just keep getting better, you know? And they generally do, even though it went up the day of the cut, just like, you know, most cuts. So I agree with you, but not gonna lie, like, you know, we love this rash of refinance business. I mean, it's incredible for profitability. It is incredible for putting liquidity on the balance sheets of people's homes. So when even if you get like a 3 or 5 day spike, which is what we were, now we're on like a 3-month lowering of rates. We love refinance business. It is the easiest to do. Courtney, you're a servicer. You've got to be loving it. You got to be just spearing loans out of the sky. I don't know, out of the sky. They're literally in your kitchen, and it's in your refrigerator or your oven. You've been baking these relationships, and you're like, here, come out, let's have a bite. You know, like the easiest customer acquisition cost is portfolio retention. It's $100 versus $500 for purchases originated. I mean, you've got to be just loving it.
I just have a PSA for my friends in the lending community. Be kind to your servicers right now. Order a payoff one time and make sure that it's correct. And remind your clients to cancel their automatic ACH so that they're not mad at you when it takes a month to rip them a new check. Help your family servicer who has 8 times the number of payoffs that they're used to having. Those small things will make your clients so happy along the way.
All right, speaking of Mariah Carey, by the way, anybody care to guess how much money she makes in royalties off that one song?
A year?
A year.
I'm going to say $12 million.
I was going to say 10.
I'll go 7.5.
Wow, you guys are really high. I thought it was high, and it was 3 million. So
I mean, I would think $3 million a year for one moment of brilliance. Absolutely.
Right.
I'll take it all day.
Let's be real. Brilliance is a stretch. Just saying.
I mean, you got to give it to her. That song has been going for 20 freaking years. Like, come on.
It was 20 freaking years, and she's still getting $3 million a year on average for the royalties for how many times that song plays. And as KP noted, it's going to start tomorrow.
I saw a really interesting AI demo this week, and I just want to tease it. So you brought up Howard Stern, you brought up Mariah Carey, so think AI voice, think Chat GPT, are celebrities and high profile people, economists, knowledgeable people, are they going to have their name, image, and likeness ripped off by AI? I saw a platform where they are doing licensing agreements with people. I literally had a conversation with Snoop Dogg, Mike Tyson, and this economist. I mean, literally you're talking to the person and it's so on point. And I know like our demographic, maybe that's not cool, but imagine like if I could upload a bunch of recordings from my father who's been passed for almost 5 years, and I could talk to my dad, or like it is wild what AI is going to do, and there'll be royalties through these kinds of platforms as well for AI voice. And this is today. Like I can't even imagine where AI is going to be in a couple of years. It's going to be mind blowing.
So yesterday I was talking with somebody about AI and the comment that was made. Was it earlier this week or last week around the bubble? We're in a bubble, an AI bubble, and my answer to that was maybe there's a bubble from just a pure dollars following AI as a sector, potentially as an investment, but I don't think we're in a bubble from a product platform execution perspective at all. Yeah. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts on this concept of the AI bubble?
Ladies first.
Was the internet a bubble?
I
feel like that changed our world, and AI is changing it. What we don't know yet is exactly how, right? People are placing small bets here. Think about what KP just said. Hey, I'm approaching it from this place, but another company is approaching it from this place. And people are trying different things. AI overall is going to stick. It is what and how that we haven't yet figured out. Just like with the internet, the what and how wasn't known, but you knew that it was the real deal, right? It was going to change how we worked and how we produced.
I have two things. So you can't see my fingers with my cool Halloween background. I have two things. One, is it a bubble? I don't know. I think it's a long bubble if it's a bubble. I think we need a workforce that is AI educated in order to get this thing really, really rolling, because old folks like us are like chasing after, and I am too, right? Like literally we built a GPT this morning for, our servicing communications understandable at a 6th grade English level, right? And I can tell you all of the templates from the investors and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau need some help. Right. And we're doing, we're running use cases on all of these things. We're trying to use it as much as we can, but there's people coming out of computer, I'm sure they're degrees anymore, but coming out with degrees where this is all they're going to do, and they're making so much money because it's a skill set. All of these, or we need people that are doing this stuff full time, I think, before we're really going to see it running. Second, industries like ours right now need to invest in infrastructure. You need to get your data organized, and you need to get your processes off 60-year-old systems if you're not going to miss the flying robots and all of the other things that are coming in the near future because of AI, right? Like that's the thing. Disorganized data that's not centralized and moving right in the right way. Very, very, very scary. And these big old systems, right? And you're not going to see that big old system offering you the next AI solution, right? Because they're still programming in DOS-based systems, right? And they've got 400-year-old people that are like using hammers in the technology in the back office, right? And so I think that, are you starting to adopt? Are you starting to look? Are you starting to use? But are you making the investments that you need so that you can optimize your own environments later on? Those are the things I think we should be thinking about in mortgage, instead of going to the same darn panel at every conference where a couple AI vendors say, well, these are the fun things that we can do on customer retention. And like, whatever the thing is, like good, great, wonderful, love it. Would love real use cases. Mortgage people need to invest in things where they can see the ROI, because that's just how the mortgage is like top tier capitalism, right? Okay, great. Where can we make the investments to make this stuff more effective? And I'm done.
I think if you come to more of the not just servicing shows, you'll see some more use cases. Because you know, like I agree, like it's an echo chamber when you go to certain shows and you hear the same thing. I think the word bubble is thrown around a lot. And I also think it's usually it's thrown around by people who aren't really in it. And so, you know, let's take Jensen Huang. This week, NVIDIA is the first $5 trillion company ever. Before this week, their average revenue per employee was $4 million. Okay, so that metric is something important. We talked about it before in the show. So they're the center of the AI universe. They're creating GPUs to do everything. And so, like the internet, you know, the winner, I think most people would say coming out of that, you know, pets.com, this.com is Amazon. They just reported earnings, $180 billion in sales in 3 months, and $33 billion in Amazon Web Services, cloud services, their cash cow, which by the way, we all went out a couple weeks ago, and Azure went out this week. What's going on? Microsoft owns 37% of OpenAI, ChatGPT founding. So it's going to be kind of a winner takes most, just like with the internet. By the way, Amazon said they're going to do $200 billion in sales in Q4. I mean, and that's internet, and they're optimizing it with AI and throwing stuff at you that you like or whatever. So I think this capital expenditure by all these large companies, our business, you know, it can't last forever. Trees don't grow to the sky. I think ultimately what puts a cap on this is power in the United States. I mean, there's not enough power, you know, for all the data centers that are being planned right now. You need 8 more fully built nuclear power plants, and it takes a decade to build one. So right. I think we're going to have a cap because of energy, which is why I think it's also important to keep drilling, because we don't want our heating bills to go up because someone's building a data center so you and I can talk to Snoop Dogg, right? So I don't think it's a bubble. I think it could slow down, but this is an infinite race. It's not a marathon, it's not a sprint, it's an infinite race, as Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA, said. It's never going to end. Like, it's just never going to end. And I think people are completely underestimating what AI. I mean, we haven't. Let's get into quantum.
I was just gonna say we haven't like there's people that are in quantum computing right now. Like AI is like the snail in that race at this point. That's exactly where my brain was going, KP.
Isn't it crazy? Like something that would have taken like a million years, like an equation, like a million years for like an IBM supercomputer to crunch, was done in 5 minutes. You know, so I'm invested. Full disclosure, I'm not a financial advisor, not responsible for your losses, only your profits. Qubits, Rigetti, D-Wave. I mean, there's some Google. There's some incredible quantum mechanics and quantum computing that's being built right now, which is like we won't even be talking about AI anymore. Like we don't talk about the internet. We talk about quantum this and quantum that.
It's all coming. It's all going to be different.
And I think that like from a financial institution perspective, like companies like Chime, companies that have been investing in all digital solutions to everything and how they're moving forward, but they're still a bank, right? Like it'll be interesting to see what happens with the big Stagecoach Bank or, Chase or, any of these institutions that have this large old tech, right? Weighing them down, on-prem this, on-prem that. I don't know, maybe
blockchain,
maybe some non-investment advice in companies that have been building a traditional whatever in the digiverse, right? Those are the ones that are going to potentially be able to, as a technical financial term, y'all.
Yeah.
Is that hockey stick up and to the right with a sound effect?
Yeah.
There you go. You heard it here first.
The Digiverse talks.
You got to give us a scent. Memories sink in better with a scent. So we got to come up with a good aroma.
A signature scent. You need a signature scent.
Sweaty hockey skates.
Oh, yeah, you'll never forget that one.
Go Lions. Let's talk about football, please. Thank you.
You'll never forget. Yeah, exactly. The football gloves are the worst, by the way.
So bad.
Well, guys, we managed to make it to the bottom of the hour, and hope everyone has a wonderful Halloween. KP, looking forward to the late night videos and pics. Christy, enjoy the collaborative trick or treat candy distribution. Courtney, and enjoy your dark cave by yourself with with the Scrooge McDuck in the front
Looks so
yard.
good, right? Halloween Scrooge.
Yeah, love it. And to the audience, hopefully you found us, because we're somewhere new. We're all going to figure that out. But
On Google,
we are on Google, yeah, and
Rush
we're on Zoom.
earnings.
We're on Google, Zoom, and we're going to also figure out how to get back on LinkedIn here shortly. So once again, this is The Last Word, a Chrisman commentary show. We are wrapping up the week, wrapping up the month, and we'll be back here next Friday. See you guys.
Bye, everyone. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.